So you got me, right?
Yes.
So, what Bagua teaches is efficient utilization of space and how to properly navigate and negotiate your own terrain. Right now, the circular movement, when you start to walk, the walking on a circle is one of the most efficient form of exercise there is. It's really power walking at its best. And I'm walking in a circle like this. It becomes introspective, but the mind is not totally active as of yet because there's no activity going on except for the legs. What happens with that, the mind can tend to wander because there's no feedback going on via the body and the mind. So if the mind begins to wander, there's an intrusion taking place, namely outside interference. When you activate the hands, automatically there becomes a feedback between the mind and the body. So now you have an exercise. That's what Bagua. And now once the stepping now is very important in Bagua. Like I say, it's a power walking with form. Now, the first part of the Bagua, and you learned this, what, 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
No, it was probably about 15 years ago,
15 years
maybe
ago.
even 20 years ago.
Yeah, you learned the mother form, right?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, and
So the mother form, and you start to have activity taking place. The mother form is what teaches the different hand position. Once you start the hand position, the different hand position, consider them as different energy vertex.
right.
Once the hands come into play, however, you have what we call a constructive interaction, positive interaction between mind and body. Now you start to have a form taking place. The stepping is very important in Bagua. The first step is the inside foot. But if you notice, my foot is straight. Notice the posture of the knee. Knees are close together. All right, so you're sitting back on the back foot and forward foot is empty until I shift weight. The foot should brush the ground slightly. There are different types of stepping. Natural step is the most, in my opinion, the best step, as opposed to the mud stepping, what have you. All these different types of stepping is very good for exercise, strengthening the muscle tendons, stretching the joints. But the natural step is the best. How it's done? The foot almost brushes the ground, and then the whole foot touches. All right? Very light. And notice this foot comes very close to the inside. So as if they're brushing together, but the outside foot turns in. And that's how you get your circle. Inside foot steps straight, outside foot make that circle. Inside foot steps straight, outside foot make the circle. Light step. Now you have form. Now you have your blueprint for stepping. Bagua, like Tai Chi. Tai Chi teach you structure, foundation. Tai Chi teach you how to be grounded. That's what Tai Chi teaches. Or is the mother of all the internal styles. In Tai Chi, you got your motion within stillness. Tai Chi gives you a root, foundation, central equilibrium. Tai Chi teaches you how to hold your ground, hold your foundation, protect your space. Bagua is taking that space and re-rotating it on an axis. If you cannot tell where I'm going to be, it's very difficult for you to formulate an attack against me. I'm moving my space. I'm moving my foundation. I could be anywhere on this grid and make it harder for you to know point and shoot. All right, that's what Bagua does. That's a spiraling energy. It teaches you also how to take the energy, how to cultivate the energy, transform that energy, and store that energy. That is called the alchemy of inner transmutation. Bagua is a little different because Bagua take that energy and spiral it in the body. All right, so the original ideogram for Bagua was, from what I understand, was light skill, how to levitate. That was the original ideogram for Bagua. My teacher told me when he started the Bagua that you should imagine when you step. When you're doing the Bagua, imagine that each step is as if a dragonfly landing on the top of the water, lightly touching the skin of the water. If you imagine that when you step, then the body becomes light. Why does the body become light? Because over a period of time, you develop what we call buoyancy in the body. Right? The energy that is transformed from the Tai Chi become buoyant. As it spirals through, it starts to lift you up like a helicopter top. When I sit, I'm going to brush both knees. Now as I step, you see what this hand does? You see? And this one spirals. You see? So you have a
Yeah.
spiral in motion.
Right.
All right.
Yes, I understand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it right there. Turn more to the center. How many steps was that?
Not enough.
Supposed to take how many steps?
4.
Okay.
Right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. 1, 2. Sit deep. 3, 4. Brush the knee. 5. There you go. That's better. Better posture. All right. One more time. This for all the people with the foot fetish. There you go. So, we're here. We just spiral to the 4th step. Next movement, I'm going to step up, push off. Very smooth. Brush the body, sit. Now, this hand comes around. This one is scooping. Okay. Then, yeah, you're not supposed to hold the ball. You're supposed to balance them in the hand. Yeah, we're going to finish up. I'm not going to tape this part though. I'm not going to put this part on tape. You have to memorize this one on your own. Okay? You can connect the dots. Okay?
Yeah.
So Bagua is very good for getting in shape. It's a very good system of natural conditioning because it's friendly to the body. Because you're utilizing the natural mechanism of the body to navigate for health. So instead of just walking, now you're taking that step and putting a pattern to it. That's what's good about it. Also, you notice that when you start to move naturally, it's friendly to the body, it's friendly to the joint, taking your environment into consideration because now you're becoming friendly with nature. And so you have a friendly exchange. I think sometimes people, when we tend to want to get in shape, we tend to use machines. But when you use too much machines and in the gym and what have you, you tend to become like those machines. And you develop a false sense of conditioning, a false sense of health. But when you're out here in the environment, so now when you're training, you're exchanging your energy with nature, with the trees, you hear the birds singing. So now you're stimulating your senses in a different way. Also, you're taking into consideration the oxygen, the natural oxygen flow that is taking place. Because oxygen is life, breath is life. You could consider a God particle. You know, so when you breathe in a natural intelligence. You're taking what of it that you need. The rest you don't need, you release. The trees take that and turn that into oxygen. They utilize that energy and transform that. So there's an exchange taking place. And the backward walking is very good because you have that natural flow going on with you. Natural step. From the ground, you get an exchange from the earth, that vibration that you develop with Mother Earth, the energy from the earth that you're gaining. So there's a lot of things taking place. We're aligned with the heavens. So if you're aligned with the heavens and you have the energy pathways from the body through the top of the head, aligning you with the heaven. The next energy pathways that, or we call it life pathways, meet in the body, in the center of the chest. That goes vertical or horizontal to the ground. That's your next life pathway. That grounds you with the earth. So one connects you with the heavens and one line you with the earth. So when you start to move, you start to activate those pathways in the body. That's the beauty of Bhagavad. So people want to utilize it for self-defense. Yes, it is. But you want to consider it as an energetics. You know, it's an energy field that you're tapping into. Mm-hmm. And it's a very powerful energy field that's powers. All right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that works his shoulder.